Welcome to Gamepinions episode 37. I'm your host, Calvin, and today we are back again. Oh, wait, I forgot to introduce Kim Kim.
That's mean.
The one and only Kim Kim. You're so
Hi.
quiet over there.
I am.
I completely forgot you were here.
Thanks.
So we recorded a bonus episode this week, but this is going to be our official episode 37. And John is unfortunately under the weather, which is really weird because it doesn't usually rain in California. So,
But you know what I did see? Mandalorian soup. I think it's like Campbell's, but you should eat some of that, John.
it helps you. all that salt.
I thought that was so cool. I'm sorry.
I actually didn't see that. I didn't know we had
Really?
that. Yeah. Do we have
Oh.
that?
I ate our can. Sorry.
Oh, I'm so disappointed. Okay, so yeah, that's crazy. I didn't even know we had that. So we were going to talk about, games that we were playing, but obviously if you listen to the last episode, we're playing Stardew Valley right now a lot. So we don't really have to go into that too much.
Yeah, no, there's not too much that we've really progressed enough to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, we played a little bit of Death Stranding today because we're still continuing that. But like I said before, that's you can kind of assume that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
So,
Although I one thing that did happen real quick was that I think you went up to the little barn and the chicken coop and decided to open the doors, and I didn't know that they would actually come outside, so it did kind of scare me. And
oh, we're talking about Stardew.
yes, for
I'm like,
Stardew.
there's no animals in Death Stranding.
Stardew.
Yeah.
That was a shocker for me. I was like, oh my gosh, what are they doing?
Yeah, that was pretty funny. I like to close the doors behind them so they can't get back in.
They get extremely happy though. Oh yeah, and I have to go open the doors because I'm scared that they're gonna get trapped outside. But anyway,
Yeah, it's like, wait a minute, that's not what it's supposed
that's
to do.
about it.
And it's a shame John's not here because I was throwing the idea around in my head because last week we talked a lot about toilets. So I just wanted to pose the question, but do you think that we would be more successful as a toilet podcast?
Maybe. I think that's what we need these days is reliable toilets.
We need to have a podcast dedicated to toilets. Gaming toilets specifically.
Yeah, like things that we could flush or games you could play in the toilet, I guess.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of what I was thinking. That was kind of the thought process behind it. And just because I felt like because I always have to listen back to these podcasts when I edit and, make sure that, things are going smooth. There's no extreme clips in the audio and all that. So I kind of got to that segment where we're talking about toilets, and we seem like we know what we're talking about, more so than when we talk about games.
I don't think so. Although I would like to see toilets in video games that work.
Well, actually, okay.
That would be cool.
You mean that work? Well, they work in the Sims.
That flush. And I know you could drink out of the toilets in Fallout. See, very successful game.
You can. It is a very successful game.
In Sims, you can use the toilet. So
Death Stranding has a toilet.
there you go. See, very successful. I don't know why, but
I think 2019/2020 may be the years of the toilet.
yeah, toilet implementation into video games.
Yeah, I'm all for it. It's one of the...
We need to analyze that over 2020.
Oh, definitely. Absolutely. So we wanted to go ahead, I guess, and get into a couple news stories here. I guess this first one, this is kind of going back to last week when we were talking about the delays that they were having with these different games. We talked about... what was it? Cyberpunk 2077, how that got delayed. We were talking about Final Fantasy 7 Remake, which got delayed. And now we have another game that is going to be joining the delays. And this is Dying Light 2. So on Twitter, Dying Light posted this, or I guess Techland, Dying Light's developer, went ahead and posted this. To our dedicated community, it was a busy year for us as we continued working on our biggest project to date. We know you are awaiting the game eagerly, and we want to deliver exactly what we promised. We were initially aiming for spring of 2020 release for Dying Light 2, but unfortunately we need more development time to fulfill our vision. We have more details to share in the coming months, and we'll get back to you as soon as we have more information. We apologize for this unwelcome news. Our priority is to deliver an experience that lives up to our own high standards and to the expectations of our fans. Please stay tuned, and thank you to our fans around the world for your continued support, patience, and understanding.
Instead of like Dream Team, it's the delay team.
The delay team. But, I mean, kind of like what we were saying last week is that these delays aren't necessarily bad. Like, I'd rather the game be delayed and released in a proper state rather than come out like a buggy mess.
And, hopefully they're not pressuring their teams as much with the delays. It gives them a time to kind of, really analyze the quality of work that's being done.
I think so, too.
Maybe just to do some extra adjustments to make sure that the final product is something that we're going to want.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, as soon as I start hearing about game cancellations, I'm triggered. So.
Oh yeah. Game cancellations are no good, but
I'm curious to see if we're gonna see any of that in 2020.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious about that too. For a while there, I thought that Nintendo was going to end up canceling the new Metroid game, but then they switched it over to Retro Studios, so that kind of saved that. But yeah, I mean it's interesting. I don't think we usually see a ton of game cancellations. We don't usually even hear about them. Usually canceled projects get canceled before we even hear about them. So, I don't think that's really a major concern.
I'm still scared.
Instead
of the end of the world, my biggest fear is the end of end of video games.
Sometimes I just assume the worst, and that way when it happens, I'm not disappointed.
See, it's like a way to be pessimistic to become optimistic. It's a weird cycle.
I call it optimistically pessimistic.
Optimistically pessimistic.
Yes, optimistically
pessimistic to be optimistic.
Yes, that's exactly right.
I don't know.
So besides that, there is a Half-Life Steam sale going on right now. So Half-Life 2, Half-Life 2 Episode 1 and 2 will be free to download on Steam for the next 2 months. Just in time for the fully VR-focused Half-Life Alyx. Half-Life Alyx, and this is on a Steam post, is set before the events of Half-Life 2 and the episodes, but the games share characters and story elements. The Half-Life Alyx team believes that the best way to enjoy the new game is to play through the old ones, especially Half-Life 2 and the episodes. So we want to make that as easy as possible. So that's pretty cool.
I could really appreciate that because, in order to enjoy new games, especially when they're part of a series, getting to know like the backstory or at least like what's happened and how the game's developed, to me, like it means something.
Yeah,
to
agree.
See the progression of how that game's changed. So that's really great that there's a sale going on for that.
Oh yeah, definitely. And have you ever played the Half-Life series?
I played, I don't know if it was the first or second, to be honest with you, but it wasn't like it was my favorite game, but it wasn't bad. It wasn't like terrible. It was very interesting, though. I'll say that.
Yeah, I think it is very interesting. It's a really odd game. Like it's very different. A lot of people consider it the best first-person shooter, like story mode.
No. Don't you dare compete with my Halo.
I don't know. It is very unique.
I love my Halo, and there's only one Call of Duty, which I think was like way back, like the very original. I don't know. The thing was ancient. No, No, Half-Life is interesting to me, and I love it. I just don't think it's the best shooter. But once again, I played it with the keyboard and mouse, which everything just seems super easy like that. So
yeah, there was a mode. I can't remember what it was called, but basically you downloaded it and you could play like with like multiplayer. I can't remember what it's called now for some reason, but it's downloadable in Steam. Like you can download it and you can play it. And so basically you're playing a game that is meant to just be with like one person in Half-Life 2, but with like an entire army of like multiplayer people. So like some of the scenes are like ridiculous. Like there's this one scene where I think you have to kill like a sniper or something, and he's just up there all by himself, and then you just come with like a group of like 20 people and just go and just take him out. It's like so excessive.
This is for Sparta.
But there's like
is that the quote?
No. It's this is Sparta, which I'm pretty sure we're gonna get copyright claim for. So thanks, Kim.
Oh no!
I'm just kidding.
Oh, drop the 4. See,
no.
good thing it wasn't a direct quote.
That's true. So
See?
I'm the one that got us in trouble.
See, See, I didn't do anything.
But
Just
you made me correct you,
I'm sorry.
which
I
that's
was off to a good start for 2020. I
I
was doing
know.
so good.
You were. There was so much promise and it's all going away now.
I don't quote anything correct, just for people to know. Like, I'm very bad at quoting.
Yes, Kim Kim, I always make this joke, but it's somewhat accurate. Kim Kim, instead of quoting SpongeBob, is "I'm ready." She goes, "I'm willing." It's like,
It-
no, Kim,
I
it's
do. Okay, that was one quote I have never done.
that's not a rock. It's a boulder. No, it's Kim Kim. It's a rock. It's a rock.
I quote things wrong when I'm trying to be funny, and it's really bad.
It's very endearing though.
I don't mean to misquote it, but that's what makes it funny, even though I'm trying to quote it to be funny.
It's kind of funnier that you do misquote it.
I hate it.
I think it's funnier that you do misquote it because it's like unintentional, but it's I don't know.
I
It's
feel like
more
I always
real.
miss the punchline because I try to quote something. I'm like, oh, they're going to love this. And then it's misquoted.
It's like,
Okay, so
yes.
I can't even remember.
Yeah, I know. I lost my train of thought. So anyway, Half-Life series is free on Steam, and I fully recommend it.
Mm-hmm. Plus, don't you need the Half-Life series for
Gary's
mod?
I'm not a huge fan of Gary's mod.
Yeah, but if you're multiplayer and you're playing with friends, you need that anyway. So,
Yeah, you're going
hey.
to. I think you can buy the bundle though. Like
I don't know. Don't
they go on sale like so frequently.
Okay, well, thanks. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah, I don't know. Gary's mod's
I tried to play Gary's mod once, and it took me an hour to start the game, and I said, no,
It's
no,
like,
thank you.
Yeah, I think I'm done. But anyway, let's move on. So early on in the podcast, you were talking about the Mandalorian soup.
Yes.
Today we're doing something a little bit different. So we're going to be talking about the primary topic, which is games that we found in our cereal, which you told me apparently you've never had games in your cereal.
No.
Now, that's very weird to me, and I think, quite frankly, that you're lying.
I am not lying, and I think it's very weird that you found an actual video game in a cereal box for like $3.
It is a video game. It's a video game. Okay.
My God, was that a deer?
That's what I just was about to say. That's
Oh,
totally a deer.
Beautiful. We're seeing a herd of deer cross the street right now. Make this live.
For those of you that do not know,
oh, it's running.
I know it is running.
Sorry, I'm so sorry. Anyway, continue.
Welcome to Gamepinions. We record in our car, so that's kind of our current recording setup. So we see things that distract us, and we're like recording at nighttime.
And I also hit a deer, my very first deer, not long ago. So I'm like super alert and super scared. So I'm so sorry. I'm scared they're gonna come at us, and we're just completely parked and totally safe. And next thing you know, we're just gonna like die from a deer.
Yeah, Kim's convinced that the deer are out to get her now.
It's a curse. Ever since I hit my first deer, it's been like bad luck.
Yeah, and we almost hit a deer in my car, and it was very scary. I mean, their eyes are just completely, they're just all black. They're like little doll's eyes.
Oh, stop it.
And they're very dangerous. But anyway.
They're so cute. But anyway, moving on to the cereal and the weird games in his box, which I'll be honest, toys, okay. Like, I got toys in the cereal boxes.
I remember there was, things that you could send away for. Have you ever sent away for anything on a cereal box?
No.
I used to be a big NASCAR fan back in the day, and there was a little Terry Labonte car that I really wanted from the cornflake box, and I think it was actually just the normal cornflake box. So it wasn't even anything, wasn't really a great cereal, but man, now there's lights flashing at us. Like, this is very, like, if you get distracted easily, recording in your car is not the right choice. Anyway, so I sent away for this Terry Labonte car. My dad said, we just put this in the mail. We put the little flap up, and they come pick it up, and it's basically like a mail-in order. And I was super excited about this car.
So you mail in what you have inside the cereal box, or was the box top?
You mail in a chunk of like the box. Like, it has like a little shipment form on like the box, and you send it in, and you're able to I guess basically just send them that slip with your address on it, and they'll send you the item that they're giving away.
Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about because I used to see those forms on the outside of the
Yeah,
box.
actually, you know what? It actually might be on the inside of the box because that brown paper is what you can write on.
What?
So it's
Okay,
on the
no, wait. This
inside.
just got weirder because I know they use the box for multiple purposes. So they used to be able to cut the outside of the box, and then you basically had to destroy the box to send it in. So
Oh yeah, you
usually
did.
people would eat it all, and then they'd
Yeah,
do something with the
we ate it all
box.
first. Yeah.
So I remember that, but having like a special little piece of paper you can also write in sounds, I don't know, completely foreign to
Well,
me.
no, it wasn't a special piece of paper. It was the inside of the box itself, like the black
Oh.
or not the black, the brown paper portion, brown cardboard portion of the box that I think you wrote on. If I think that's how it was. It's been a really long time. It's like back in like the early 2000s that this occurred. Anyway, I don't know how I even ended up doing this, but basically I'm pretty sure my dad ended up sending it in, and I was super pumped up for this car. And I finally got it back. And it wasn't at all what I thought it was going to be. Now, I thought it was cool on the box because it showed you could lift the hood up on the car, and that to me was amazing because I haven't seen, a toy that you could do that with, which is cool. You can see the engine.
Mhm.
Well, I got the car. The engine didn't really have any detail on it, and even as a kid, I was like, this is kind of lame. And you had to put all of the decals and stickers on. So you had to put on like the number 5 with like the tiger stripes.
Those were the worst toys because you had to work for it.
I know,
It was
and
like,
I was so disappointed, and I was very young, but even I know, I knew at that time, like this is a crap quality car. The wheels didn't spin. The edges of the wheels were almost squared off, and they were sharp. And long story short, eventually all the decals peeled off, and it was just a really sticky car with nothing on it. And I'm pretty sure I eventually threw it away.
that's wonderful.
Yeah,
But somehow he ends up getting a video game in the
but so
cereal
yeah,
box.
somehow I end up getting a video game. Now, before we get into the video games that I received in the cereal box, I wanted to ask this question. Kim, what is your favorite cereal? You can pick
Oh
one cereal, your
my
favorite
gosh,
cereal of all
don't do
time.
this to me.
You have one
Okay.
cereal. Honestly, this whole episode is the excuse for me to talk about cereal because I'm a big fan. I don't really eat it that much anymore, but it was one of my favorite snacks at some point in time.
If I had to choose my most favorite cereal,
Yes.
oh my
You
gosh.
can pick one cereal.
Okay, this is where I get confused. Okay, so it's between. It's not. I don't think it's Cocoa Pebbles. There's two chocolate brands. There's a Cocoa
Oh
Pebbles,
no.
and then there's the other one, and it's the one that's not flaky. It's the one that looks like little Rice Krispie treats, and it's
Okay, so you like Cocoa Krispies.
Cocoa Krispies. Yes.
But what about chocolate French toast?
No, no,
Or
definitely,
chocolate Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
definitely Cocoa Krispies.
That
Those
is a
are
good cereal,
ones I
man.
remember as a child, and I was like, ugh. But honestly, anything that has marshmallows has gotten me like involved. So
And just for the record, like this is probably the most controversial thing I'll ever say on this podcast. Cocoa Pebbles suck compared to the Cocoa Rice Krispies.
I still like them both.
No,
I
they're
have
not good. They're
problems.
not good. The Krispies hold on to their shape more, holds on to the chocolate more, and they just taste better.
I have these weird phases, but I Cocoa Krispies, I just like the way the texture and stuff is. I'm
Yeah,
weird.
it's
And the
amazing.
shape, but like, I mean, don't bash the other one, because sometimes I got in a craving for them.
To me, I'll be honest. To me, I think that Rice Krispies are just on that whole entire brand, that Kellogg's brand. They just hit the right amount of, you know, popped rice, and it's just it's so good. They hit that right amount of just texture and crisp and flavor. Like even normal Rice Krispies, they taste good.
You know, what happened to Cocoa Krispies? Because I can never find them in
They're there.
store.
They are always there.
I
They're
am
hiding.
blind, and I
You
don't.
can't find them because people freaking love those things.
I don't really eat too much cereal anymore since I've become. Well, I didn't become, but I figured out I'm pretty much lactose intolerant, kind of.
Well,
So
that's when you just start using water.
So then, well, they have like Lactaid and like organic milk seems to be a little better for some reason for me to like drink, but I don't when you buy Lactaid, you can't get a gallon, so you don't want to waste it by just having a bowl of cereal all the time.
I
So
know.
I get so nervous, I don't know. That's why it's been a while since I've gotten back into the cereal game.
Yeah, I just don't eat it because I like my cereal in like specific bowls. So I have a hard time eating it like in anything else
I
besides
always
those.
like if I don't have I guess like a ceramic bowl per se, I it's hard for me to eat out of plastic bowls. It's weird. It's like suddenly like utensils and dishes. I am so picky about what I eat out of, and it's really hard, but I'll do it if I'm really hungry.
Yeah, see, my favorite bowls to eat cereal out of is like, the actual cereal bowls that are, high walled and deep.
Yeah, nothing too big or too wide. I have to have it like the perfect like medium size. It's the strangest thing.
You need to have a lot of room for your spoon to maneuver.
I'm little, so I don't require that much room. But if the spoon is too big, I've noticed that. Has anyone else, I'm not crazy, noticed how there's like these smaller spoons, but they're the normal tablespoons. But then they got like these serving size spoons, but they're not even called serving spoons anymore. They're just like, hey, here's the new regular size spoon.
It's
like,
called the regular degula spoon.
don't give me a regular size, like this new and improved bigger version. What? I can't eat. Like, that's one bite is like three
Yeah.
bites to me. Anyway.
See, my favorite cereal is no longer around. My favorite cereal hasn't been around since, I believe, the 90s. It was
What?
supposed to celebrate the new millennium. That was my favorite cereal. And it's called Razzle Dazzle Rice Krispies. If anyone has ever had these things before, it's been such a long time that, honestly, I don't really remember the exact flavor anymore.
Oh my gosh.
I just know that I have yet to have another cereal come close to give me the flavor sensations that cereal was able to do. Razzle Dazzle Rice Krispies is by far my favorite cereal, even if I can't remember. Runner-ups would probably be maybe the Rice Krispie Treat cereal, Cocoa Krispie cereal. French Toast Crunch is a good one. Cinnamon Toast Crunch is a good one.
We were told to label our very best because
Okay.
let me tell you something. Fruit Loops would be up there.
See, I think Fruit Loops are kind of overrated.
Okay, and then Rice Krispie flavored what's
Rice Krispie Treat cereal,
Rice Krispie Treat,
which is very good.
which was awesome. Okay, it had a really good flavor balance instead of the basic Rice Krispies.
It used to be in a blue box, and they brought it back in a
purple
box. Yeah.
Yeah. So that one was awesome.
Very good. S'more cereal's good.
I do not like the s'more cereal.
S'more cereal's good.
I had one instance where I ate it, and it was, once again, I'm very picky about my chocolate flavoring.
The Cinnamon Toast
Was it
Crunch
the same?
churro cereal's very good.
Yes.
Very
good. The French toast crunch thing. French toast. What's it called?
Yeah, cinnamon toast crunch churro cereal.
The churro one is weird. I mean, when you're eating the churro cereal, you're like, I don't think this is supposed to be a cereal, but you still like it.
It's very good because it has holes drilled into the churros at the ends, so the milk fills it, and it gives off the illusion that the inside is soft.
It's a very nice, I guess, like how it absorbs the milk.
Yeah, very lightly flavored, but very good.
It's soft, but not too soft, so it's still crunchy. It's weird.
It maintains its integrity.
And here we are describing cereal.
Well, that's the thing. And like I said, this is kind of an excuse to talk about cereal because we try to keep things mainly about games on this podcast and toilets. So
Cocoa Puffs. Oh, I loved Cocoa Puffs.
Cocoa Puffs are
Sorry.
good. Reese's Puffs are very good.
I was addicted to Cocoa Puffs for a
Even
while.
some of the not really, as sweet cereals like Raisin Bran Crunch, I think is very good.
I've never had a healthy cereal I liked.
The thing with cereal is that none
Sorry.
of them are healthy.
I'm
They're
so
all
sorry.
they are all. There is no such thing as a healthy
I
cereal.
had one organic cereal that was supposed to be anti big factory kind of cereal, and I did my research behind it. The problem is it's really hard to find because obviously they're not going to be sold in Walmart or Food Lion. And then by the time I did find it and I tasted it, it was good, but was it worth all the effort? No. And it was like extremely a lot of money.
Well, that's the
And
thing. Like,
I was like, no.
they're all carbohydrates. Like, that's all they. It's
Well,
there's no
this
benefit.
was to go against the monopolizing whatever factory
which is
things.
fine.
Which I was like, sure, I'm all for, a better movement, but at that point, I'll be honest, and then that place didn't even sell it anymore. I don't even remember where I got it anymore.
Like, I think the healthiest cereal that you can have is oatmeal. That's considered
I
cereal.
don't like oatmeal.
But you don't like oatmeal. But all these other cereals, they're not healthy.
I would literally like to just drink water as my breakfast then. I would skip breakfast.
Oh my God. But yeah, so I'm a big fan of cereal, and I figured this would be a good opportunity for us to be able to talk about something that's not necessarily a game, but then tie it back into games in the end.
Okay, wait a minute. The games on the back of the cereal boxes are
Are
worth talking
also
about.
games, yes.
Mhm.
And that was one of my favorite things to do, especially as a kid, and even when I have cereal now.
What kind was your favorite?
What kind of games on the back?
They always had the Find This games.
I liked it when it was kind of like the highlighter magazines in a way. It's like Find the Differences.
Crosswords. I like the crosswords.
Yeah, I remember Kix Berries. I think it was Kix Berries. They had some really good games on the back, kind of like similar to like Where's Waldo, I think. So you kind of find like,
Yeah, finding different shapes.
yeah, or finding, certain people.
I didn't like the maze because I always had the brother who would or
Draw
at least
on
the
it.
sibling who would literally take a pen and would go from the finish line and try to work their way backward, and
Yeah,
I hated
who
that.
does that? I
was
feel
so
like you're
mad.
weird if you do that.
I was so upset. I was like,
just use your eyes.
you ruined it for me.
And the thing with the mazes is that even if I didn't find the way through, I just, blinked for a second and wound up on the other side of the wall.
What?
Yeah, I wouldn't follow. I mean, if I couldn't follow the maze, I mean, I'd just, be like, oh, I did it. There's no, physical
I used to
proof
get
that I
really
didn't.
mad if you couldn't finish the game fast enough and then you had to go to school. I used to be so
Ooh.
upset. I was like, I want to know.
See, I didn't really eat breakfast before I went to school, so
I did for a short period.
okay, yeah, because I
I
guess
was
when I
little.
did, I probably looked at the cereal box, but this is like, I don't know, because I don't usually sit at the table when I eat cereal, so that kind of eliminates.
Gosh, you're weird.
You know what I mean? That kind of eliminates now being able to look at the box. But if I do eat at the table with the cereal, I'm just implied to, or not really implied, but I'm just, prone to looking at what was, on the box and playing the games on the back.
In my family, you ate at the table unless the food was given to you wherever you were. Like, I had days where we'd be sleeping on the couch after a gaming session and we're tired and we're ready to go to school the next day. And then my mom would bring us all right, here's your, well, okay, this is where it gets really unhealthy. Here's your Mountain Dew and here's a donut. And that was the best treat ever because we rarely ever got that. But
here's some sugar for your sugar.
it was awesome. I was like, this is it. This is it. I was like, I'm going to have a good day.
Oh my God.
But it was amazing. But besides that, I would always eat cereal and our meals really at the table. And so now it's really hard for me not to be at the table and not to have family around me when I'm eating.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It's still very strange. It's like people should be here. Why is no one here?
Yeah, why am I the only one eating at the table? What's going on?
It makes me want to put stuffed animals and be like, how are you doing?
I'm way ahead of you. But yeah, I mean, so even the I guess the non-sweet cereals, really, like the Honey Bunches of Oats, that's a really good cereal. You have those honey nut you have those honey oat clusters in there, which are really good.
I just don't like them. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're
I
crazy.
gotta have my sugars. If I'm gonna eat a cereal, it has to be the most tooth-rotting tasting cereal, some really, really sugary, chocolatey, or very fruity.
I have a special spot in my heart for the Special K strawberry cereal, which is really sweet Special K pieces, and it has little astronaut strawberries in it.
I'm doing my ew face.
And there was a really weird cereal I had called Blueberry Morning.
Really?
And it had little blueberries in it with almonds. That was actually really good too.
Hmm.
I mean, there's a ton of different cereals. Peanut
Have
butter
you
crunch
ever
is good.
added in like things into your cereal box?
Not into the cereal box,
Oh,
but
sorry, into
into
the
the
cereal
cereal. Yeah, if
bowl.
I had like normal Rice Krispies, sometimes I'd cut bananas up in it, which is really good. I had strawberries in it. At one point when we went on vacation, this was on the Outer Banks of North Carolina. We stopped at this. It was kind of like a farm in a way, almost like a really, family owned place, and they had fresh Carolina peaches, and we cut up some of those and put it on the Rice Krispies. Oh my God, those things were amazing.
To me, that just sounds
It
disgusting.
it
Because
might sound disgusting.
the texture, and then the
The milk
natural
smooths it
stuff,
out.
milking it in the milk, and
You should.
ugh.
I think you should start off with bananas. Get normal Rice Krispies. Get some bananas. It is a great cereal.
I should be more open-minded and try it, but
Like we're doing that tomorrow.
I kind of
We're
cringe a
getting a
little
normal
inside
bowl
me.
of
No.
we're doing it tomorrow. We're gonna do that, and that's it's gonna happen.
I'll
It
keep
is
you
so
updated
good.
on
It's
my
so good.
cereal torment.
Yeah, next episode we're gonna update you guys on that. So we talked about our favorite cereals. Mine will probably never come back. Kellogg's. If for some reason you stumble across this podcast for whatever reason, I don't know why. Highly unlikely. Bring back Razzle Dazzle Rice Krispies, please, because they'd be a freaking massive seller, and they'd be so good. I want to try those things again in my lifetime.
The old people are missing them. Bring it back.
Yeah, it's like, come on. And every time I mention it to someone, they have no idea. It had like a holographic box. Like this was like, they had like it was so bright. The Razzle Dazzle Rice Krispies were so bright that even the little Snap, Crackle, and Pop had sunglasses on.
Oh my god.
At least I think they did. But it was, oh man, it was so good. So because we're talking about cereals, this is going to be one of the weirdest segments here, where we're going to go on Twitter and look up other people's favorite cereals, because these topics aren't really related to games in a way. So we're going to be telling people that they were featured on Gamepinions that may or may not even have any interest in video games. So I really was thinking that would be kind of interesting. So this first one, I don't know if he's the one that did this, but if he did, and I hope he did, this is freaking hilarious, and I'm going to be using this probably for the rest of my life when people ask me what my favorite cereal is. This is at Black My Eyes. My favorite cereal is Chex Mix, and he has a picture of him pouring milk into Chex Mix with Chex pretzels, the little bread things, and all the other things and seasonings that Chex Mix has. This is freaking hilarious.
I'm going to throw up
Kim,
at the end of
this is hilarious.
Oh my god.
That is hilarious.
No.
At Black My Eyes, if this is your picture, I'm sending you a virtual hug, because this is going to change my life forever. From now on, when people ask me what my favorite cereal is, I'm going to look at them right in their eye. I'm going to smile awkwardly for a few seconds, then I'm going to say, my favorite cereal is Chex Mix.
He's not lying, because I didn't understand what he was saying this morning. And he told my mom that, and I was like, where did he pull that one out of?
Oh
Now
my
I
God.
know.
Yeah, this is exactly where I found it from. So if this is your picture, I love you.
Thanks for the forever eternity cringe from me. I'm scared.
Oh man.
I haven't tried it, but I can't imagine it. Okay.
I hope these people actually listen to this episode. It's going to be amazing if they do. This is at Your Favorite Zoe. Top 5 cereal. 1, Golden Grams, which I don't know if I ever had Golden Grams.
Mm-mm.
I think it's like a graham cracker like. I mean, that would kind of make sense, right?
I guess.
Number 2, Apple Jacks, which is, basically Fruit Loops.
No, it's not.
Apple Jacks is a pretty solid
No,
cereal.
it's not.
It's a pretty solid
Apple Jacks
cereal.
is like the and I always put it as the healthier tasting, even though it's not, cereal versus Fruit Loops. That's a no-no.
Apple Jacks is good. Number 3, Trix, which Trix I have an issue with Trix.
I love Trix.
I hate Trix
Why?
because they changed the fruit shapes to balls.
Okay, I can understand
that is
being an
messed up.
issue, but I loved the old shapes,
The
just like
old
you
shapes
did.
were great. I liked picking up the
That
little
was
watermelon and
that was
biting the red off of it and still eating the green, but it was just something special about it.
that was in its prime. I'll give you that,
Yeah.
but I still like the flavor.
Now, I have a question for you. Do you believe the theory that the reason why we can't see the shapes anymore is because we're adults now? Because silly rabbit tricks are for kids?
No, I think that they wanted to save money because that's the direction we're all
it's just
going.
messed up, though. And I don't know why they did that, and I really dislike the fact that they did that, because that's really what made that cereal unique.
No, maybe they did that as like some sort of big time running joke that tricks are for kids, and now you can't see the shapes.
I don't know.
They took it away from us.
And there's no way for us to really find out unless we ask a child.
No, oh no, we're just gonna Google it.
No, because
No.
we'd have to ask
Because
a
they're
child.
gonna look at you and they're gonna say the same line they say all the time. Tricks are for
We
kids,
have
silly
to
rabbit.
go up and say, are these tricks colorful balls or do you see shapes?
Oh my gosh.
We have to ask. Because, I mean, that's the answer that the only way we're going to find that answer out is if we ask.
I wish John was here.
I wish John was here, too. This would be very fun. He's really missing out. Thanks for being sick, John.
Yeah, thanks, John, for letting us
Because this,
down.
like I said, this topic had so much potential. You just have to see it. You have to see it because I had plans.
Oh my gosh.
See, it's very fun, isn't it?
It's very fun.
So, and then number 4, Cinnamon Toast Crunch, which that's a classic. And then 5, Lucky Charms. I have a question for you. When you were younger, when you ate Lucky Charms, did you eat the oats first and then eat all the marshmallows at the end?
Disgusting. I just eat the marshmallows.
Okay. I used to separate them. And ironically, I did the same thing for Captain Crunch Crunch Berries. I'd eat all the yellow pieces and I would then eat the Crunch Berries at the end. Now I
No.
just eat everything all together and it's great.
I didn't care. I ate the marshmallows. It was the nastiest. I was like, why didn't you just get Tricks or something, not Lucky Charms, where there's only a few good pieces in there, and then the rest is just it's garbage.
thing is,
It's
though,
it's like filler episodes.
If you eat all of it together, that flavor is it's so much better than them individually. You gotta eat them together. Like that blows my mind that you don't like those. I could really go for a nice bowl of Lucky Charms right now. I'm getting really hungry. Oh, and what I mentioned Captain Crunch. What is with the original Captain Crunch? What are those things even supposed to be? Are they supposed to be barrels?
You know, ironically, for Captain Crunch, like those, you're talking about the little square pieces,
Yeah, what
right?
are those? They feel like you go to it feels like after you eat Captain Crunch that you just went to the dentist and he was like scraping around in there.
I was the weirdo who was like, oh, these are like the planks. Like these are wood pieces.
It could be like maybe like
don't
bundles
think
of
so.
something. I don't know what they are.
I just know that I was like, the texture makes you think of hardwood floors.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Like the texture was like wood because it was just so rough.
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
They cut you up though. Those things will cut you up. Those
I
corners
know.
are sharp.
I got cuts on my little tongue, but I liked it still.
See, I like the original Captain Crunch once they get like a little soggy. They have really good flavor.
Yeah, you have to let it get a little soggy, and then
Mhm.
it's good to eat.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Like once it kind of gets a little bit of the milk on there and it starts getting smooth. Oh,
It's like
great.
Pops. There's a fine balance when you're eating
Pops.
Pops.
Pops are pretty good.
You have to wait, not because right away they're gonna be super crunchy. But if you let them soak for too long, they're way too soft. So you gotta get them right in between.
Pops are weird though because they were in that weird like paper bag. Do you remember that? It was like that gray like paper.
they had like packaging. It was
It
different.
was weird, yeah. It was really weird. It's kind of a
But
weird
then
cereal.
when Minions came out, I was really disturbed
Well, it's
because they basically gave faces to Pops, and I was
oh
like,
really?
well, no, it just looks like the little Pop
Oh,
cereal with
come
faces
on.
on them, and I was like, I can't get past it, and I
That-
never liked
oh.
Minions as much as other people because I just kept seeing the Pop cereal.
It's like we're eating Pops. Okay.
Yeah.
That's very weird. I've never even thought about that. That's weird. Okay.
Now you will.
This next one is at Denesi or Deanesi or something. Denesi, who actually has a little picture of somebody from Splatoon, and my favorite cereal, which one of your favorite cereals, Fruit Loops.
Ooh, I like that.
That is. I like the little Splatoon
So
doll.
cute.
I can't
I
remember
love
their
it.
names. I played Splatoon 2, but I can't remember any of the names. That was one of the main characters, I
I
think,
never
though.
played Splatoon because I was like super against it for some reason. Well, okay,
It's very fun.
it reminds me of the Nickelodeon games I want them to bring back. I'm
It
really
does
upset.
remind me of Nickelodeon just because of like, the slime
Does
and
anyone
the
remember going to the PC games and going to Nickelodeon.com and they had like this, like you could play as characters from Nickelodeon
I
and
remember those
you can
games.
shoot each other with like this the goo gun or whatever. Those are fun.
Yeah, I liked when they used to have those. That was pretty cool. The next tweet is Denny to the max. Appreciation tweet for my favorite cereal ever, which is Honey Bunches of Oats with almonds. Out of all the honey bunches of oats, the almonds is actually my favorite, as well.
Didn't know they had other
It's a
flavors.
very good cereal. Like it has like a couple different kinds of flakes in there. Has almonds, some honey oat clusters. It's just a really good tasting cereal. It tastes very like fresh and interesting. There's a lot of different textures that your tongue is running over as it goes down your gullet. Um,
Disturbed.
this is definitely the weirdest episode we've had. So and that brings us to the main topic of today. And that is games that we had in our cereals. So I guess we can go ahead and scratch out games that we had and just make it games that I had, because apparently I'm the only one in our group that has any. I wish TJ was here because he knows exactly what I'm talking
You need
about.
someone to vouch for you.
Yeah, I need some vouch. I mean, I actually looked up and there were some articles that people were talking about, like, their favorite games that they played in cereal boxes.
You know,
So
that had to be before we started eating cereal, where you guys, there had to be some kind of, sort of age difference or something.
what's
That
the
we started
thing?
eating cereal at a different time
Yeah,
or something.
some of these are back in the 90s.
I don't know.
Like it's crazy. And John was saying that he played a cereal game in his school. It was just installed on the school computer. Like it's like, what? Doesn't make any sense. So, um here's the games that I remember vividly playing from cereal boxes. Number one was a really weird one, especially considering that this game was actually rated T. So it's weird having a game rated T in cereal boxes, which I usually associate cereal with, I guess, probably from ages like, I don't know, 4 to 12, right?
Kids, the kid range, because
Kids.
especially like colorful cereals and ones that are really marketed, not the healthy ones per se.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to have kids eating the healthy ones as well, but you would think that the ones geared with sugar and stuff are geared towards kids.
Yeah. And so basically, the game that I'm talking about is a demo disc for Lord of the Rings: The Return of the King.
What?
And it's I think the mission that they give you in this one is, because all these were PC games, so they were, I guess, a low enough quality that my PC could run them. And this was like, I think the battle, I think it was in Gondor, I'm pretty sure. And it was basically like the opening battle scene in, I guess, like the Return of the King game that eventually, did come out in full capacity. But I just thought this was really weird, and that game was actually a lot of fun. I'm not sure how it held up now, but that game was actually a lot of fun, and you could play co-op, and I would actually like to play
I
that.
think I actually played that game.
It was very good. Like there was definitely some issues with it, and probably find a lot of them now. But for a movie game though, that was pretty solid.
But I can guarantee you that I didn't get
It
mine
was a
out of a
good
cereal
show.
box.
It was the weirdest thing. Like I just remember getting that, and we played it. We hooked it up and we played it, and we eventually did get the full game. But it's just really weird. Like you put a teen game in a Kellogg's cereal box that you're mainly gonna have kids getting.
At the same time, I mean, when the parents are the ones buying it, you would
Yeah.
think that they would at least they would know what they're doing.
Yeah, I
mean,
guess so.
if I saw that there was some sort of game in a box and I have a kid, Oh, you better believe I'd be the one to
You
take
go in
that
there and,
away.
and scrap it away.
Or
Yeah.
choose a different cereal. I mean, it's that easy. I mean,
I guess so. Yeah, it's just weird to me though. I mean, it's not like it's like a rated M game. It's not like they put like Manhunt or like Grand Theft Auto in there, but
but it is strange, especially back in that
it's
time.
strange. Yeah. I mean, I guess that was probably back in I don't know 2004, 2005. I forget when Lord of the
I
Rings
mean,
came
literally,
out.
games were not being sold in your general grocery store.
Yeah,
So
that's why it's just so weird. It's
that's
like
what was so strange
yeah,
about it.
it's really weird. The second game I had was called Captain Crunch Crunchling Adventure, and that apparently came out in 1997, which to me completely blows my mind because I vividly remember playing that, and they must have brought it back at some point because I doubt that we got that in 1997. So that's just I don't know.
Their their family would just hide toys in the cereal
Yeah,
box.
I
I'm
don't
kidding.
know.
I've never seen that.
Which this game is really weird, right? So basically, the whole premise around this game is that basically like a troll or something attacks like the Captain Crunch like mine because what they use to make Captain Crunch is like this um, mineral or resource called crunchium.
What?
So apparently someone steals that, and you're basically a little crunchling that you basically have to train yourself up from being a baby to being like a strong adult and being able to beat the troll. The whole concept is you're trying to save Captain Crunch. So basically what you do to train is you you ride a skateboard and you complete like this like side scrolling continuous skateboard running skating screen that you're jumping over things, hopping, avoiding obstacles and whatnot, and that builds up like your speed or something like that. And then the next thing you have to do is I think it's like boulder throwing or something. So there's boulders being shot from like the other screens, and you have to go underneath and throw a boulder up, and you have to like hit the other boulders and break as many as you can. You have like
That's
unlimited amount of rocks.
that just sounds so much more deeper than I would think
It's
Captain Crunch is.
it's really weird. And then there's this one where you're in like this really like virtual. It's almost like if you take like your CPU and you flip it over and you kind of see like that greenish hue or that greenish color of like the circuits. It kind of looks like that. And you're basically going and just jumping and trying to get to the top of the map. It's like moving platforms and you're jumping and you're going up. Those are the three things you do. You basically have an unlimited supply of Captain Crunch inside your little room where your little crunchling is. So you can give him crunch berries, you can give him uh, peanut butter crunch, and then the original. This is before the donuts and all that other stuff that Captain Crunch started doing, the cotton candy and all that other stuff.
Wow. I mean, what in the
But
world?
it's
I would have rather have a pirate game where I have Captain
I
Crunch.
know,
And
I
where
know.
we have crunch things to cannonball things.
Yeah, and Captain Crunch is very poorly voice acted, and they also it's really dumb because you spend all this time, you can actually pet like your little creature and all that too, and it's like you can build up their like happiness meter just by touching it over and over again. There's no limit to what you can do, so you can just keep leveling your guy up. But it's like you go through these three trials, and as you age, it increases difficulty, and then once you're fully grown up, you're ready to take on the troll. And you would think, oh, okay, we're gonna fight against this troll or whatever, and we're gonna have to face him in these challenges, similar to what we did. And basically, it only picks one of those challenges to do, like to go against them. So it could pick like the jumping one, it could pick the boulder one, or it could pick one where he's like in like a mine cart and you're on a skateboard and you have to race him to the end. But it's really dumb. Like I thought it was really cool back when I played it. Looking back though, it's really dumb.
Yeah, but here's the thing. As a kid, and for a cereal box game,
It wasn't
that's pretty legit.
bad.
That's pretty legit. It's something to play.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. But it was really weird though because on like the main screen there was an option for a free trial of like AOL online or whatever, and it's like, this is a kid's game. Like, why are you giving them the option to select this? Like, you're just trying to get, like, people to try out AOL or whatever. Like, I don't know. It just seems like, I don't know if it's really shady necessarily, but it's kind of weird. It's like, put it
Some
in a
sort of
kid's game.
agreement, some sort of business agreement there.
Yeah, so, I don't know. It was very bizarre. And the fact that it was like, I don't know, the fact that this was even a thing, it's just, it kind of blows my mind. Like, it's just such an obscure thing to put in, a cereal box. And, like, what are you trying to accomplish with it? And why haven't they made a sequel yet with an upgraded Captain Crunch cereals?
Well, one,
And who developed this? Like, why did they develop this game?
hey, they obviously, back then, cereals were competing to try to get, people to buy their cereal over others. And if you had something better to offer in your cereal, then why not? And games are like, heck, who wouldn't want one? So
It's just so
I
weird.
could see why. I mean, they went to extremes. And then suddenly, I thought what was weirder is that they just completely dropped everything inside cereal besides just the cereal. They just said, nope, we're done with that. And then, like, it was like a universal agreement with all the cereals. They're like, yep, this isn't really bringing much of a more profit, so we're just cutting it too. And they all just, boop.
But it's like, it's
gone.
weird because now if they did something like this, and I'm sure there probably is cereal boxes that have games or whatever associated with it, but they're probably all digital now. There's no physical discs.
They're very rare.
But it's weird opening a cereal box and getting a CD out of it.
It's weird opening it and pouring a bowl of what you think is food and something else drops into it.
Yeah, it's like, ooh, it's a CD, it's a DVD, it's a movie, it's a video game.
Like,
It's
nowadays,
crazy.
it's like they had to take it away because people would actually try to eat it and they think it's part of the
Yeah.
cereal. No, I'm kidding.
It's
I'm just kidding, but
it's very weird. Now there was actually other games too, and games that I received but I didn't play. Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego was one of them.
I actually had that game, but I didn't get it from the cereal box.
See, I think this one wasn't the Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego. I think it was Carmen Sandiego, like World Class Detective or something.
And trying to find the clues was very hard, and I never got very far in that game.
See, I wasn't even interested in attempting.
I would click the whole
playing
screen,
it.
and I'm like, I don't know what I'm missing anymore.
I don't know. I did everything
I
you
was
said. I followed all the rules.
I clicked everything.
Yeah, I never had the desire to play it. Like, it just wasn't.
I didn't even know what kind of game it was. I put it in.
I had no idea either.
I
I've never
played
seen
the
it.
game to figure out what kind of game it was, and it never dawned on me that all you do is hunt for clues. Like,
Yeah,
I
it's
always
kinda
thought
dumb.
it would
So is it-
change.
So is it like a point and click adventure?
It was like a point and click adventure, yes.
Okay. Yeah, I just never.
As
I never
far
had a
as
chance
I
to play it.
remember, because I must have been playing it wrong if it was different.
Oh my god. Now this next game is called Chex Quest, which came out in 1996. It's based on the cereal Chex. And this is the description. I just pulled this off of Wikipedia because I just, I needed to read it. So this is what the game description is. Set on a distant planet named Bazoik, the game follows the Chex warrior, a soldier clad in a Chex-shaped suit of armor, as he eradicates the invasion of the planet by the Phlemoids, a species of slimy green invertebrates who have infested the planet and captured many helpless colonists, whom the Chex warrior must save. His main weapons are devices called Zorchers, which teleports his enemies to their home dimension. The game starts at at the landing pad of the research center on Bazoik. Other levels include the laboratory, the arbitorium. I'm pretty sure I didn't say that right. And finally, the caverns of the Bazoik, where the Phlemoids have established their colony. Their principal weapon is the use of mucus as a projectile. So I'm sure the milk-based product known as milk probably empowers the mucus.
This is really gross. And the names are really, they're very detailed, and they were almost like an actual story. And what really astonishes me is nowadays we'd just be like, Pupper brings humaner sticker.
The thing is, though, is that this game was actually good.
Really?
Because they took Doom and reskinned it
Oh.
with Chex. It's a Doom ripoff.
Really?
Yeah. It's a Doom
Oh my
ripoff.
gosh.
And there's so many Doom ripoffs, but this is another one. And this was a cereal game. And guess what? There's not just one Chex Quest. There's Chex Quest 2.
Wait, okay, I need to know. I mean, do we hit things with swords? Did you look that far into it?
No, you have a little
We shoot
like
things?
remote looking thing that shoots the enemies and teleports them back to their home dimension. There's no killing.
Oh, that's weird.
You're sending them home.
I'm uncomfortable.
So there's
You're
Chex Mix.
sending them home.
There's
I'm gonna say that the next time I kill someone in the game.
I'm just sending them back home.
I'm sending him home.
See, they have Chex Quest 2, the Flemoids take Checktropolis, and then they have Chex Quest 3, which came out in 2008.
Okay, wait a minute.
Which wasn't that long ago.
I thought Chex Mix wasn't a cereal.
No, Chex Quest. No, they have Chex. Chex is a cereal. Chex Mix is the stuff that has the cereal pieces along with. And I will say the Chex that you get are different in the cereal than how they taste in the actual thing, but they're still Chex. it's
I don't know. Just keep going.
So yeah, these are all apparently three Doom ripoffs, which is pretty funny. Yeah. So I have a list of games that I gathered here that I don't really have like a ton of details for, and really not a whole bunch at all. But these actually have like user scores attached to them too, which is pretty funny. And this I believe I stripped from shoot, I can't remember what the website's called now. Oh, that sucks.
It's okay. We could probably put it in the description somewhere.
I'm sure I could. So here's a list of games in Serial. Number 1. Actually, I'm not even going to number them. That's ridiculous. Art Attack, My Stuff. 2006, Windows. The Kellogg's Company doesn't have a user score on here. Then there was Zoo Tycoon 2.
Yes.
Which was published by Macsoft. And the user score on this was a 3.17. I'm assuming this is out of
How did you
10?
get a score? Wait, no, don't even say the scores because Zoo Tycoon, there's no way you could have got a score.
Well, I don't know if this is an actual thing.
Don't even bother with the scores.
Then you have Trivial Pursuit Unhinged, which was in 2004. That was on, I guess, the PlayStation 2, Windows, and Xbox. All of these, though, I'm assuming that these were all computer-based ones just because I think more people had it. Then you had Scrabble for Windows back in 2003. Crayola Arcade for Windows in 2003. Kellogg's Frosties Grand Prix.
What?
It's Grand Prix. And that was from the Kellogg's Company in 2003. This one's kind of cool. It's the Atari 80 Classic Games in 1, which was in 2003.
80 classic games. That might be worth it.
Yeah, I mean, just getting a box of cereal and you get 80 games, that's pretty impressive. I mean, it is Atari, so... yeah. Then you have Backyard Baseball in 2004, which would be 2003. Roller Coaster Tycoon 2, which is 2002. Taz Wanted, which was in 2002. Stuart Little 2, which was in 2002. I'm guaranteed that game was awesome. SpongeBob SquarePants Operation Krabby Patty 2001.
Wow.
Matt Hoffman's Pro BMX 2001. Battleship Surface Thunder 2000. Pajama Sam 3. You are what you eat from your head to your feet. 2000. This came out on literally everything. They even has toaster written here. Border Zone, which came out in 1999. Need for Speed V-Rally 2, 1999. Roller Coaster Tycoon, 1999. Captain Crunch's Crunchling Adventures, 1999. I don't know why it said 1997 earlier. Monopoly Junior, 1999, which I think I actually had that one too. Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, 1999. That explains why we had a Who Wants to Be a Millionaire video game in my house, so we must have got that one too. Chutes and Ladders, 1999. Milton Bradley, Classic Board Games, 1999. Sorry. 1998, Operation, which I cannot believe that is a video game in 1998. Freddy Fish 3, The Cache of the Stolen Conch Shell. I wonder if it was a magic conch shell. Maybe someday.
No. Remember
Maybe
the
someday.
you pull a string in SpongeBob? That was a conch
I
shell,
know,
right?
it's great. Will I
Yeah.
ever get married? Maybe someday. Asteroids, which is a classic game, 1998. The Game of Life, 1998. Wow. Who would have thought? Amazon Trail, third edition, 1998. There was a second and first edition of that. That's crazy.
Oh my gosh.
Lego Creator, which sounds like it would do pretty good
What?
nowadays. 1998. Candyland, 1998. That'd be kind of a crappy video game. It's
my
all luck based. Tonka Search and Rescue. Oh man. Boggle, 1997. Backyard Baseball. This is, I guess, the original Backyard Baseball. 1997. Oh, there it is. Carmen Sandiego, World Detective. I'm sorry, Word Detective, not World Detective. Which I guess that's just a watered down version of the, where in the is Carmen Sandiego. Age of Empires. Wow. That's a weird game to have in there.
Almost all of these have been a little weird sounding.
Age of Empires, though, is a really good series.
We all know they must have been watered down.
I'm sure, yeah, but that's kind of cool, though. Age of Empires is a really good series. I had the Age of Empires, Age of Kings on the DS. Oh, it's so much fun. Then we also have Chex Quest, 1996, which we said. We have Clue, 1996.
Oh, yes.
The Ultimate Yahtzee, 1996. Pajama Sam, No Need to Hide When It's Dark Outside.
Oh, well, those are just some really crazy names.
1996. Your lunch goes in it. Your lunch goes in you, does it not? Perhaps I should call you Lunchbox as well.
Wait, is that an actual game title or a quote?
No, that's from Pajama Sam.
Oh.
Monopoly, 1995. Disney's Timon and Pumbaa's Jungle Games, 1995. I'm sure that was a hoot. Disney Activity Center, Aladdin, 1994. The year I was born.
No, 1995 is better. That's the year I was born.
You do get two more games. You got Pumbaa's Timon and Pumbaa's Jungle Games and Monopoly on your birthday. So
I like Monopoly.
Aladdin's pretty good though. Aladdin's pretty good. So yeah, that's a list of
That's a lot more
some
than I
pretty impressive games.
expected to be inside cereal boxes.
Yeah, any games there that completely stand out to you?
All of them. I don't know how you'd play Clue. And I also don't know how you play Carmen Sandiego watered down to words, which is very interesting.
Yeah, I honestly don't know how.
If
play
anything,
is, yeah.
it's piqued my interest.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. Like, cause I was thinking about this. Like, I think about this stuff a lot. It's part of the reason why I stay up at night. Think about what other games are in cereal boxes and why.
I never think about this.
I think about it all the time.
I actually think about like me being in the video games, and I'm like, how cool would it be? What would I do?
Sometimes I imagine myself as the controller.
Ugh.
Ew.
Oh.
I like being the TV.
He likes to be touched.
Handled.
Oh,
ew.
this is getting awkward.
Ew. I did say this was going to be a weird episode. But yeah, I just thought that was really weird. I mean, it's just a strange thing, especially nowadays where it's like, we are kind of moving away a lot from like physical, medium, and the fact that we had these games inside our cereal boxes, it's almost like companies were trying to get like a leg up and trying to get into, the hands of children and, I guess man-child.
This is really disturbing sounding.
But I mean, that's kind of what it is, though. I mean, they wanted to get their games in the hands of children and I guess attack them through the cereal.
Well,
it's weird.
I'd actually like to talk about that too, because to be honest with you, back then, I mean, video games had their own store, their own spot that they'd be sold. And then they started introducing them into the cereal boxes. And primarily people thought that they were primarily kids games. Oh, these are for kids. Video games are for kids.
Yeah.
And we've really come to the day where no, they're not. Like everyone's playing them and they're admitting to playing them finally. That's
Oh, yeah.
really the
Yeah.
truth, is they just need to admit that they played them.
Yeah. Most
Um,
people, I think, play games.
which most, even back then, adults played video games. It was just like, I guess, the generic idea. I mean, cereal boxes with the games in it didn't necessarily mean to be targeted just to kids, but most of the time, we remember as kids eating more cereal than we do as adults. I don't know
Yeah.
why, but that's just something that, when we are adults, we can cook our own eggs and bacon and all kinds of other things.
Our
But
horizons are a bit broadened.
but as kids and as a mom, and then you have like 4 children, a box of cereal,
Yeah, box of
sure.
cereal can last like a couple days.
Just pour them a box of cereal on your days that it's too much to handle sometimes. So definitely can understand that.
Yeah, it's good. It's, kids are satisfied with it. I mean,
And
I
now
guess I
now
still
we're
like
going
cereal.
digital. It's strange.
Yeah, but it's weird though because I mean, I guess back in the early 90s and really the late 90s and early 2000s, social media really wasn't a thing. And really besides like, if you're on like Nickelodeon or Cartoon Network, there wasn't really any like, video game commercials.
I remember socializing on video games before socializing on a social media website.
Yeah.
Or app or whatever. Like I never, like by the time I learned about MySpace, I've already made friends in my video game.
I know. I know. Yeah, it's crazy. I mean that's like, me and John's friendship was, over a Conduit website, which is like
Mhm.
really obscure and crazy to think about, and we'll have an episode all dedicated to that at some point in time. But it's weird. I mean, it's very strange.
It's just hard to remember the day that they actually sold physical games in their own stores and when grocery stores didn't have that in there. And maybe it was that we were just never brought to those sections, in the store, but I guarantee you I don't think there was at least console games being sold in there. I think if anything maybe PC, a
I
small
think
section.
I think it was just PC, but it's weird because even when I'd go to like the drugstores and stuff, like Rite Aid and Eckerd and all that, they would have like a small selection of like PlayStation 2 games, and they probably still have them in there. So you can see like Gun in the background, which is basically like a Red Dead Revolver spin-off almost. Not really a spin-off, but it's kind of like a knockoff in a way. And it's a really weird game and very violent. So it's just strange to like see that kind of game in there. But even if you go to like Kohl's and stuff, you get like some weird games that are
Now
like ancient.
you walk into any store and you can find a video game playing somewhere.
A lot of times, I mean, there's the dedicated food stores typically don't have it, but I thought it was weird that they kind of were trying like a different marketing approach, I guess, when they were putting these games in the cereal boxes, and they don't really need to do that anymore. I mean, I'm sure they do it in different ways. Like Nintendo had like the Mario 3, like the Mario Odyssey cereal.
I'm waiting for the day now, since we're digital, though, since we really are getting digital copies instead of physical now,
Yeah.
that they're just going to take them away from the grocery stores that do have them. Things like Target, Walmart, just your most basic, places that they're being sold right now, because how much profit are they really making to keep it in their store when they could have more selections of like toys or things that kids are going to go to? Because Toys R Us isn't really quite a thing anymore. They just go to your local Walmart or Target for your gifts, for other children's parties,
Yeah.
or you just run up to the store and while you get your groceries, get the toys.
See, now I will say that I feel like a lot of people that have these consoles, a lot of them are kind of out of the loop, and I think a lot of them are still heavily on, they still buy heavily, primarily, I guess, physical games, and they don't really realize you can download them, or they don't want to download them. They want to just have them and be able to, turn them in and trade them in for a different game, and I feel like there's still a large amount of like the audience that still does buy physical. Digital numbers are higher than they ever been. But
You do have a point, because I mean, I guess if parents are buying games, they still are going to go grab the physical.
yeah, they're probably going to do that, and they're not going to realize, oh, you know what, you can download. And there's even some people that are the generation kind of above us that plays video games. They prefer the physical, and that's kind of a blanket statement. but I feel like a lot of them still,
From the
are
people
into that.
that are older that do play, they have the
Yeah, I mean,
physical copies.
personally for me, I could go without physical games. I think the collector's edition of games are really cool sometimes, but I mean, typically I don't buy them just because they're so expensive.
I'm so done with physical games. To me, that was the most hated part.
Yeah, it's like it's so much more convenient to be able to just go into your console and just switch games without having to go up, insert the disc, take the other one out, and all that other stuff. Not in that direct sequence, but whatever. And especially if you have a portable system like the Switch, it's so much better just to have all your games downloaded in there. I like getting one to fill the game slot that's in there, just so it's occupied, but I don't know. I just prefer having, the ability to just, swap your games and have all of them on your system and not have to worry about it tied to your account, so you'll always have them. So that's just kind of how I feel about that. But physical games still have, a place. Just probably not in our cereal boxes anymore.
Yeah, I just don't think that's gonna be a comeback. Cereal will be cereal.
No, yeah, I think cereal and video game, well, at least physical video games, are probably done. I feel like I'm really curious what the development cost of the Captain Crunch Crunchling game was and these other games. And I mean, I'm assuming that they're relatively low, but think about it. Someone actually had to develop that, and it's not like the cereal was more expensive.
I
You
mean,
get like an added
the
bonus.
people who developed it didn't really get much credit.
Yeah, and even like it's just brand placement. Like going back to the Captain Crunch game, there was like some weird brand placement in that. Like you had like these like Gatorade, ads in there because I think Gatorade and Captain Crunch are kind of made underneath like the same like parent company or something. So it's like it's just weird. Like you're seeing all this crazy brand placement in there. So it's very entertaining, but I definitely wanted to have this episode though because I feel like this is just such a bizarre topic, and sometimes it's kind of fun to kind of, bend a little bit away from, just specifically talking about video games and having like, weird topics like this.
Yeah, having an oddball conversation or two. I mean,
Yeah, it's fun. It's because this is like a really strange part in, I guess, like gaming lore that we had cereal boxes that had physical video games in there, and they're just weird.
because games, I feel like if you play video games, the odds are you definitely play like board games or you were introduced to games in other odd ways. Or, I mean, games in general, like even playing pretend. Like, we gotta do one about playing pretend because,
Yeah.
man, do I got some stories for you. I mean,
Um,
I do them all, like.
yeah, yeah. So the thing that we did this week, we put up 2 episodes now this week, and I think that we want to start introducing a little bit more content into the podcast feed as we go forward, and I feel like we're kind of working up the muscle to do that now.
Definitely. Maybe have like categories or something we can address. Like kind of like what we've been doing, the news and then maybe like the main topic and
Yeah.
then how that branches out. But we definitely don't want to lose the flow of our conversation either. So it's
No,
just
yeah. And
hard to transition and we don't want it to become this robotic scripted thing per se.
yeah.
We just want to kind of roll with it and be able to connect with you guys on that kind of level where we're being real.
Yes, and we want to be able to talk about more things and have more bonus episodes and bonus content for you guys to listen to, and it's a lot of fun to do it because there's certain topics that we don't hit in our normal episode, so we need additional time to do that and additional space to do that. So we're gonna continue to work on that and give you guys some interesting content along with our other content, which I think is still pretty interesting too.
Definitely. We have a lot to talk about.
So Kim, I think it's time for us to say our farewell.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, everybody.
Go get a bowl of Chex Mix.
Yeah, go eat a nice fresh bowl of Chex Mix, and
Don't do it. Don't do it.
I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna
Oh.
do it. I'm gonna post it on our YouTube channel. I'm not actually going to do that, guys.
Go eat your favorite cereal and have a wonderful day.
Oh, God. Well, guys, this was Gamepinions episode 37. Make sure you head on over to Apple Podcast or even our Twitter account. Leave us some nice reviews or not nice reviews, depending on your opinion of the podcast. These reviews would help us greatly, and it kind of gets us on the same page as what you guys are thinking. So, check us out and enjoy the rest of your weekend or week, depending on when you listen to it. See you guys.
It's been great. Great? I tried.